Okay, let's dive right into this. If you're studying finance right now, or honestly, even if you're a young professional already grinding it out in the industry, we've got to talk about the giant elephant in the room. And yep, it's the massive wave of generative AI. For a while now, students have been asking, what exactly are we supposed to do with this? There's this profound anxiety kind of settling over finance students right now. I mean, you've spent years agonizing over complex formulas, and suddenly a chatbot can just spit out the exact same answers in, 2 seconds? So, in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how AI is shifting the entire landscape of finance, and more importantly, how you can actually leverage it so it works for you instead of against you.
So here's the ultimate billion-dollar question we have to answer today. Will AI take your finance job, or is it going to make you a top-tier analyst? The stakes here are incredibly high. Look, if you choose to completely ignore AI, or if you just think it's some passing fad or a glorified search engine, you're literally setting yourself up to become obsolete. Think about what happened to Nokia when smartphones took over. You absolutely do not want to be the Nokia of the finance world. We have to figure out how to bring AI along with us on our career path.
To get us there, here is our quick roadmap for this explainer. First, the AI finance dilemma, followed by why high-order thinking wins and navigating AI's blind spots. Then we'll hit the DPIM prompting framework, run through some AI demos with simple examples, and wrap up with partnering with AI.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the AI finance dilemma.
And this brilliantly illustrates what we're seeing right now. When we look at finance students and young pros, they generally fall into two pretty extreme camps. First up, we've got Sid. Now, Sid uses AI for absolutely every basic question. He treats ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, you name it, basically as a Google replacement. He just copy-pastes his assignments to make his life easy, but he has zero actual strategy. Then on the flip side, we have Rahul. Rahul is highly educated. Maybe he has his CFA or he's a chartered accountant, but Rahul is terrified. He looks at AI and thinks, man, what was the point of all my hard work if a machine can do all the heavy lifting for a 400 rupee monthly subscription? He is totally convinced AI is going to eat his job. Look, neither of these approaches is going to win. We desperately need a third way. We have to evolve past Sid's laziness and Rahul's fear.
Moving right along to Section 2, higher order thinking wins.
This right here is the conceptual solution that literally guarantees your value as a human in an AI-driven finance world. But we need to define what high-order thinking actually is. It is the advanced cognitive ability to connect deep, complex variables. Listen to me carefully here. The demand for basic memorization? It's dead. Done. The industry has already fully accepted that AI can handle the lower-level, non-high-order tasks. But what's seeing a massive, explosive surge in demand is this high-order, deep analytical thinking. Because frankly, this is exactly the area where AI currently oversimplifies things and totally struggles.
Let's put this into perspective with a practical example. If you feed AI a super basic prompt, like, what is EBITDA? Earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. The AI is going to give you a 100% perfect answer, because that's a non-high-order question. But check out the high-order prompt. Why can two CapEx-heavy infra companies have the exact same EBITDA, but differ drastically in how that EBITDA impacts their income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow conversion? When you ask that, AI hits a wall. It struggles. It'll probably just spit out some oversimplified generic one-liner because it completely lacks that deep contextual human reasoning.
Which brings us to Section 3, navigating AI's blind spots.
So, if AI is struggling so much with high-order thinking, how is the corporate world actually adopting it? And why are human analysts still so desperately needed? Well, what's really interesting here is that the data completely flips our usual assumptions. We always worry about AI stealing our private data, right? But in reality, the vulnerability level for privacy breaches is pretty low, sitting around 5%, mainly because these platforms are hard-coded not to share private info. But look at the actual massive blind spots. Data integrity and accountability. Think about it. How reliable is the data it's actually giving you? Can you trace its logic? This total lack of accountability is a huge barrier for large organizations.
To put it bluntly, as our source material brilliantly highlights, when real money is on the line, you don't trust a machine. You need a human's collar to grab. This is exactly why you are not obsolete. Financial institutions absolutely require human accountability. They need someone real to verify the data integrity and make that final, high-stakes judgment call. You are the collar they need to grab.
All right, Section 4, the DPIM prompting framework.
Okay, so we know we need high-order thinking. But how do we actually interact with AI to elevate our learning instead of just copy and pasting everything like Sid? We need a mechanical tool to master this. Enter the DPIM Framework. You really have to understand a crucial reality about generative AI. It has absolutely zero internal motivation to help you out. It's a machine. If you just use it blindly, it basically becomes a yes man that just feeds you whatever it thinks you want to hear. So, to get high-quality answers, you have to treat it like a structured relationship. First up, D is for desired relationship. You have to assign it a persona. Tell it, hey, you are a veteran finance professor with 30 years of experience. Second, P for precision. Tell it exactly what specific actions it needs to take. Third, I for inform or format. Give it a strict structure or show it examples of exactly how you want the output to look. And finally, M for motivation. You got to establish the stakes. Tell it something like, I have a massive finance interview tomorrow, and if you do this well, I will reward you when I get the job. I know it sounds crazy, but you literally have to manufacture the motivation.
Moving into Section 5, AI Demos, Simple Examples.
Let's actually see how the DPIM framework practically demystifies complex finance concepts. And our main goal here is to explain complex terms using really simple, everyday examples. It's all about how you prompt the AI. If you use DPIM and tell the AI, act as an Ivy League professor explaining EBITDA versus net profit to a 12-year-old using a real Indian company example, you get pure magic. The AI will generate this amazing sweet shop or mithai ki dukan analogy. It explains that EBITDA is simply the cash you make right over the counter from handing over the sweets. But your net profit? That's what is actually left in your pocket after you've paid the shop's rent, the government's taxes, and the bank's loan interest. It perfectly takes a super dry corporate term and turns it into a highly relatable, simple example that just instantly clicks in your brain.
And honestly, the applications don't stop there. By applying this DPIM framework, you can ask AI to pull a real-time global market update and force it to explain the data in plain, simple English, connecting the dots between Fed rates, crude oil, and crypto. You can upload a crazy complicated real estate supply and demand chart and just ask the AI to decode it for you step by step. You can even input your real-life daily constraints, like I need 8 hours of sleep and an hour for the gym, and have AI build you a highly precise, realistic weekly study schedule. Or you can prompt the AI to act as a tough HR manager at a major investment bank and simulate a rigorous 45-minute interview, even asking it to test you using Bloom's taxonomy of learning. And the craziest part? All of this is incredibly accessible. Tools like ChatGPT Pro cost about the price of a single pizza per month, or you can use tools like Perplexity, which are sometimes entirely free depending on your mobile carrier, like if you just port your number to Airtel. The barrier to entry here is practically zero.
Finally, Section 6, Partnering with AI.
We have journeyed all the way from this paralyzing fear of job replacement straight into practical, powerful empowerment. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to a choice. Are you going to fight against AI, acting like it doesn't even exist while it slowly makes your basic skills totally irrelevant? Or will you fight with AI right by your side, using frameworks like DPIM to elevate your higher-order thinking so you can become an unstoppable, highly accountable analyst? The future of finance absolutely does not belong to the AI itself. It belongs to the humans who know exactly how to direct it. So start practicing those prompts today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.